tend to think they know about this album, don't they? They tend to think they know what happened. They tend to think they know why it wasn't that well received. This is an album that I haven't listened to that often and thought I'd go back to listen to again because it might be an undiscovered gem. And if I decided to ignore all of the stuff in my head that was around at the time and I carried with me, then maybe Steve Smith's Rambling Reviews, for this is what this is, may feel differently about it. It is the 10th album from this iconic heavy metal band, and consequently it's called The X Factor. Yes, this is Blaze Bayley's first album with Iron Maiden. Now, here is the received wisdom. Blaze Bayley was in a band called Wolfsbane that sounded a lot like Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson left Iron Maiden. Shock horror, everyone. Similar to the Judas Priest situation when Rob Halford left. Shock horror, everyone. Nobody mentions that 2 album now, Voyeurs, do they? With Rob Halford, his album. Nobody mentions that. Anyway, of its time. And like Ripper Owens, Blaze Bayley stepped into some rather large shoes and found them to be a little uncomfortable. Even packing those toes with newspaper wasn't really going to make them fit that well. And consequently, after a couple of albums, this one and the Virtual 11 one, which was football themed, funnily enough, up the Amazon and all that for Steve Harris, he was replaced by a returning Bruce Dickinson, pretty much like Ripper Owens. They both got 2 albums. Those albums didn't do that well. And at the time, it was thought that, well, he's no Bruce Dickinson, is he? He doesn't have that kind of gung-ho feel to him. He's darker in his kind of lyrics and in his kind of appeal and all of that. He's got that glowering look. And at the time as well, of course, Steve Harris was also having some personal issues. And those lyrics were consequently a little darker than they had been before. But really, I remember listening to this album and thinking, well, give the man a chance. Give him a chance. And listening to the album thinking, should we give him a chance? I will, of course, go back and listen to Virtual 11 because I happen to like Blaze Bayley. Spoken to him a lot. He's a really lovely bloke. And he's got a great career going on now, which is brilliant and the way it should be. I also might listen to Silicon Messiah, his first post-Maiden album. I really like the sharpness of it. This isn't sharp. What this album is in my view, having listened to it again with a kind of open eye, and third eye open, but just the 2 eyes and the third eye open, nothing else. I've been quite uncomfortable. It's a long album. And I think it's not sharp at all. In fact, it's a little dull. Now, it starts with, should I say, Sign of the Cross. It's not a good way to introduce a new singer because it's all synth and chants and then a downbeat acoustic and a quiet, low vocal. And what you don't get with Blaze Bayley is you'll get the bombastic and the drama and all of that and linked with those metal songs really well, but you don't get that soaring air raid siren, which is what Bruce Dickinson was called a lot. And that downbeat feeling and the yo-ho-ho feel of Sign of the Cross, which you get a lot with you get a lot of that in this album. The chorus doesn't soar at all, and it's extended prog. It's an extended prog, 11 minutes start. You don't want that to start the album. It's almost as if they went, oh, go on, we're doing something new, let's really give them something to get their teeth into. They're not going to like this new singer, so let's really give them something to complain about. Lord of the Flies is better. It's got Light on Its Feet drumming by Mr. Brain. It's got a sort of Rage Against the Machine Tom Morello type riff, to be honest. Tight groove, groovy bass section as well, groove into a sort of far away. I'm soaring on a hill feel. Man on the Edge, though, is the best thing on this album. That quick, precise shot of falling down in the chorus is great. Man on the Edge is lovely, rampaging metal. Simple, traded solos, good speed, really well done. But then we get the aftermath. It follows it, which is, it's the aftermath of Man on the Edge. It's got an easy but accessible feel, but you don't ever think that's right. Although I have to say, I was listening to Sign of the Cross, and a few hours later was singing it. So maybe it's got into my pleasure centre and I just didn't realise it. But stuff like the aftermath isn't special enough. It's a bit proggy, and Iron Maiden will become much proggier later on. Not as interested in that at all. But Judgment of Heaven, which is really accessible, and I like it, it's groovy, but I want it to be more. I want it to really grab me and say, look, this is a new era, rather than the feeling which was, this is a temporary fix until Bruce comes back. That was the general feeling. Now, you need to really give us some great music to banish all that feeling, because we're going to think that way, aren't we? The bass solo to start, which isn't groovy at all, it's just as if he's playing around, Steve Harris. The Blood on the World's Hands is a terrible thing to give us. It turns into a rather boring yo-ho-ho swaying thing. I like rock to sway, but it needs to have some energy with it. The chorus is nicely downbeat, and I like the double metallic but melodic solos in The Edge of Darkness. It's got a similar gallop, but as Stevie has said, they like Harry, should I say, Harry, they like a gallop. 2 AM, probably one of the best things here. Pushier, simpler, easy rangy solo, soft and sweet actually, with bits of a tougher middle, and they finish with The Unbeliever, which is 8 minutes of drama, keening solos, groovy riff and bass together, and it's actually got a really open, show my heart and my soul feel to you, which Blaze does with his lyrics. The cover of this was Eddie being vivisected by some kind of machine, and people hated it. They hated this album. It's not bad, but it ain't great, and it doesn't have this is a showstopper feel to it. Even if one of the tracks was like that, it would be different. But the closest you get to it is Falling Down on the Edge, which is, it's okay, but it's good, but it's not great, and you needed that, because you're starting from minus, aren't you? People are already thinking, what's going to happen here then? It ain't brilliant. And like those 2 albums that Ripper Owens did with Judas Priest, it could be better. I remember seeing Priest during that time, and they closed. I had tickets upstairs at the Apollo, and they closed it. I thought, hello. So why have they closed it? Oh, I think it's just that they want all the fans to be a bit closer to the audience, to the stage. Well, you haven't sold that many tickets. That changed, of course, when Rob come back. And it's not Ripper Owens' fault, although he did forget the Lives United that night. Yeah, it's not actually that difficult, but I never saw Iron Maiden at this time, although I heard the album, and I heard all the criticisms, and you know what? Listening to it again, I really love Blaze Bayley very much indeed, but I have to say I agree with some of those criticisms. It's just not good enough, and it needed to be. Great. Ta-ta.